48 hours ago, I put out a post over on X where I said that I'm extremely confident that altcoins and this entire market will soon be trading at new all-time highs. Obviously, I can be wrong, and I will admit if I am, but I see this market erupting towards the end of the month, with September being even bigger. Most are anticipating a bearish September. It typically isn't the best month, but I believe we get the first rate cut, which will cause a huge surge across the board. There is currently a 93.2% chance of a rate cut on September 17th. We most likely pump into the rate cut and go even higher after. Patience is so important at this moment while we get through the chop and this correction. Do not lose focus here. Now, 48 hours later, this is what the market looks like on the daily. We are seeing some strong gains across the board. In terms of the week, this is what the week looks like. Ondo up 20+%, HBAR up 13+%. XRP up 15+%. Across the board, we are seeing some very strong gains, and even the hourly is still green as well. The craziest part about all of this is what Ethereum has been doing, which we'll talk about here in a moment. But it's up about 6.3% today. XRP about 1.4%, nothing too crazy there. And again, just the most of the market right now just looking very, very good. The good news about all of this and the good news about what we are seeing right now is that we have clear confirmation that the largest wave of the cycle is nearly upon us. And I want you guys to understand that we need to prepare before September. I do think that September is going to be a crazy month for not just crypto, but for even stocks as well. And no, I'm not selling you guys a used car here or anything like that. I really do think that we are in for a crazy September for crypto and for stocks. I'll go over why, but first let's actually look at the market itself. So let me just refresh this, make sure everything's up to date. Market cap for crypto, 3.93 trillion, almost at a new all-time high. Fear and greed at about roughly 58. Altcoin season about 38 out of 100. We could see Bitcoin just hovering around 117K. Ethereum over $4,200, which is crazy to think about because, again, if we look at the all-time chart here, we are now breaking over all of those major highs. Trading volume up 8.28% today, over $45 billion. This is kind of crazy to think about because we are challenging Bitcoin's $55 billion 24-hour volume. And again, the outperformance of Ethereum compared to Bitcoin is extremely significant. When it comes to altcoins like XRP, obviously XRP being a little bit more boring right now, even with the recent announcement. Obviously, here we have the announcement of the SEC lawsuit being wrapped up, and then we're just kind of ranging right now. The big news to really kind of focus on when it comes to XRP is what's the next big catalyst for XRP's price? Ultimately speaking, I really think that we should be focused on Ethereum right now. Simply because, like I said, it is creating liquidity for altcoins like XRP to actually go even crazier in this market, which we'll obviously address. But right now, this is what XRP's current chart setup looks like. We probably range a little bit here, nothing too crazy, might even chop a bit before getting that big spike to the upside. But, I do think that once we break over this $3.66 level, the violent move on XRP going forward is going to be pretty interesting to watch because that should take us to $5 plus on this next wave. And I think that that's going to be very exciting for those that have been pretty patient on XRP. I mean, so far it's been an incredible year for XRP. If we go back to crypto bubbles, for an example, if we look at the yearly gains on XRP, 432%, it's the largest gainer practically in the top 100 outside of these newly launched coins. I mean, I just looking at this list here, look at the top 100. I mean, XRP is up 432% in the last year. SUI is up 358%. HBAR is up 345%. XLM is up 339%. XDC is up 243%. Guys, we've been cooking. We love to see this. This is incredible to see. But again, the focus right now should definitely be Ethereum. I think that a lot of people are just overlooking what Ethereum is doing right now and what this really means for the cycle. So currently speaking, 3 hours ago, Ethereum surpassed $4,200 on institutional buys. So this happened on August 9th today, reaching its highest level since December of 2021. This surge was driven by significant investments from institutions, including BlackRock's acquisition of over 65,000 Ethereum valued at $271.8 million. The event also involved a liquidation of more than 200 million in short positions. Like I said, the short squeeze on Ethereum is going to go insane. I said it, this is going back a couple weeks ago now when we got the news that the short positions on Ethereum were at all-time highs, the highest in history. Well, guess what? This is exactly why we focus on those short positions. We are seeing the squeeze in real time. This is Ethereum's current chart. Guys, right now, from where we currently are trading compared to the all-time high from 2021, we are less than 16% away. It's $654 on Ethereum. That's how close we are to new all-time highs on Ethereum. This is crazy. This last week, in terms of just the last weekly candle, has been a 21+% candle on Ethereum. This is extremely bullish to see. It's extremely exciting to see as well, because now, once Ethereum officially breaks out, we look at the next phase. I'm not saying that phase 3 starts once Ethereum breaks out. No, Ethereum will continue to go crazy. For an example, here we have back in 2017, 2018, this is the all-time high. So if we're really kind of comparing this to what happened back in 2021, this is the initial break. Okay, again, this is Ethereum's part of the cycle. Ethereum is going crazy. I would argue that since roughly like June, we've been in, it's actually like the middle of June, end of June. This is when Ethereum's phase of the cycle actually started. It continues for a bit of time, probably within the next, I would argue October is when phase 3 will officially begin. And from that point on, I mean, realistically, we probably have about 3 to 6 months. So, give or take, we should be wrapped up around Q1 of 2026. That would make a lot of sense to me. So again, we're just kind of basing this off of recent timeframes. We just take it one step at a time. But while Ethereum is breaking out, just like back in January, February, March, all during this time, altcoins were going insane. And right now, most of the altcoin market is still going pretty crazy. I mean, if we look at the top gainers and the top losers and the top 500, in the last 24 hours, we're starting to see some pretty big gains across the board. So again, altcoins are starting to break. They're not going insane just yet. But this is a very, very good time to really kind of be accumulating altcoins that haven't really moved too much. And I don't think that we have a lot of time left before like altcoins actually just go insane, because again, we are in phase 2, but just remember that there is a phase overlap where money starts to actually trickle into large caps from Ethereum. This is where we start to see those big buy-ups of altcoins. And I do think that we will see this happen very soon. Probably by the end of August, we'll start to see a lot of altcoins, reaching their previous highs from even like 2024. So I'm very excited about that. And then, of course, we do go into just full-on alt season in phase 4. So, I'm very excited for what's to come. So far, everything has been playing out perfectly for us. If we look at Bitcoin dominance, we are seeing the biggest red weekly candle since the one in the middle of July. This is showing us major weakness on Bitcoin dominance. We just lost 60.42%. This is that major level that I wanted to see us break down below. And the next target here, realistically speaking, and I know that there's a lot of demand around this area of roughly like 56.81%. The next target for me, I'm really looking at that low 54.55% level. But either way, any of these two levels will cause altcoins to go even crazier, because it's a 5.36% drop, followed by a 9% drop from where we currently are trading at. So this is pretty much beginning to look as though we're in the early stages of alt season. We still are definitely in that Ethereum side of the market, but I do think that the market's about to erupt in a much larger way. And we've been paying attention to what's happening around crypto, specifically in the US. The markets have been really heating up because of all of the news that we've been getting around some bullish updates. One of the biggest things to really kind of look at is what Trump just recently did. If we go back to like the middle of July, Mario Nawfal did put out a post regarding this big bill that Trump was planning to sign. Trump to unleash crypto, gold, and private equity into $9 trillion retirement market. Trump's about to crack open your 401k. A new executive order expected any day will greenlight crypto, metals, and private equity for retirement savings. shattering the old stock and bond model. Think Bitcoin next to Blackstone, gold next to Apollo. His team's already killed Biden-era crypto restrictions. Now the White House wants regulators to finish the job. The Trump family, already deep in digital assets. Wall Street circling. Critics say it's risky. Trump says it's freedom. If this lands, your retirement portfolio just got a lot less boring. And yeah, there was even a video, and regardless of if you like Mike Novogratz or not, he is right on what he's saying here, where he did say that if Trump opens 401k plans to crypto, there will be a massive Bitcoin inflow. Check this out.
You know, bull market, enjoy it while it lasts. Never does. We're in a bull market. Trump last night came out and talked about crypto assets being eligible for 401ks. I mean, that's a monster pool of capital. And what we're just seeing is through these treasury companies, through all kinds of different avenues, the aperture of being able to buy crypto being widened and widened and widened. More avenues bringing people into the tent. I think one of the things that I actually didn't even comprehend is these treasury companies have done so well. The public equity markets are so much bigger than what the crypto markets were. And so as we're really broadening our reach through public equities into our asset class, you're just seeing tons of money pour in.
And he's not wrong about this. And the best part about what he's mentioning here is that ABC News just announced on the 7th, because we did get the update, that President Trump signed an executive order on Thursday that will let Americans invest their 401k retirement savings into cryptocurrency, private equity, and real estate, marking a major shift in retirement investment options. And this opened up a massive amount of liquidity for crypto. And I think that we're starting to kind of see the shift here in real time. I mean, listen, when we think about Bitcoin, it's not up much in the last like 24 hours or even in the last 7 days. Last 7 days, Bitcoin's kind of stalled out 3.23%. But this is exactly what we want to see while we enter into phase 2 of the market cycle, where Ethereum is still in the lead. Because again, while Bitcoin is boring, guess what's not boring? Ethereum. Ethereum is up 20+% in the last 7 days, up 5+% on the last 24 hours. This is exactly what we like to see when we are officially in that phase 2. This is clear confirmation that we are in phase 2. And it's also clear confirmation that we're still following the path to Altseason. There's nothing different about this cycle outside of the fact that we have institutional grade adoption. We're starting to see the window of opportunity for crypto closing to be early in the space, because again, the US government is now opening the doors for crypto in a huge way. We're starting to see regulatory discussions and moves being made as well. Yeah, I do think that this is probably the last official typical crypto cycle that we see. And then going forward, yeah, things will start to change in a much larger way. But for right now, guys, buckle up and get ready, because altcoins like XRP are about to go parabolic. They are about to melt faces. We've been already starting to see a nice gain across the board on some of these other altcoins. I've been talking about XLM, SUI, and even HBAR for a bit of time. And even if we look at the last 7 days on almost every single one of these altcoins, they are up either 20, 14%. With HBAR, last 7 days, about 12%. They're just all trying to break out against that previous higher time frame resistance. We really need to clear some of these older like levels. And when I say older levels, I'm mainly going back to like January, right? So these are like those higher time frame areas that we want to break over, because we saw what happened with XRP once we broke over that $3.40 level on this chart. We ran to $3.65. And you might say, all right, well, it wasn't that much of a move to the upside. Well, yeah, that's because we're starting to look like this move back here, where we hit that high, we sold off a bit, we ranged, but then this next move here should take us to $4 plus on XRP. Across the board here for HBAR, SUI, and even XLM, the same song and dance is being played, where we're looking at the 1 year, we're looking at the macro, and we're looking at those highs, and we know exactly what the next target here is and what happens after, which is the violent swings. I shared this image even with Bitcoin, right? Like when we think about Bitcoin compared to, let's just go back to Ethereum, right? So this is what the all-time chart looks like for Ethereum. This is what the all-time chart looks like for Bitcoin currently. By the way, this is the 2021 all-time high. Look at how crazy the chart has been since 2021. Guys, this is the 2021 all-time high for Ethereum. This is why I keep saying that Ethereum has a little bit of ways to go before we actually top out on Ethereum or even hit close to the levels that Bitcoin has reached. I would argue that $10,000 is not out of the picture for Ethereum to target this cycle, and that's very beneficial and actually very bullish for us altcoin holders, because that means that a ton of liquidity is going to flow from Ethereum into altcoins. So this is why I keep saying buckle up. A lot of people are just not prepared for this at all. And I really do think that we should also prepare for September, because I do think that September is going to be a huge month, especially with the official Fed rate cut decision happening on September 17th, which I do think is going to be the first official rate cut. I think that that's where we actually get the green light from the Fed on rate cuts, which will open up a massive amount of flood of liquidity into, you know, traditional markets and even crypto. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.